Hello dear students of third prep science. Let's go to start our episode today as we have the last session of revision about all the points as we studied before in second term of science. So let's go to start our episode today, but at the same time we are waiting for your phone calls. So let's go with the first type of questions as we see here complete or نبتدي ب what happens أو show by drawing the drawing of graphs. نشوف كده قدامنا of alternating current and direct current. نشوف how can we differentiate between alternating current and direct current. نبدأ مع بعض بأول سؤال النهاردة مع بعض في الحلقة. عندنا ال alternating current وال direct current, how can we differentiate between each one of them. هنشوف مع بعض كده قدامنا ده two axes زي ما هنشوف كده مع بعض. طبعا one for time and one for the electric current intensity. اهو I and here we have T. If we talk about the direct current, لو انا بتكلم على ال direct current DC, so here we have constant intensity and direction. So we can represent this relation between electric current intensity and time as a straight line parallel to the time axis, as we see like that. But if we have another type of, as we have here, direct current, and here we have alternating current. We have two axes, as we see here, axis of current intensity, and the other one is time. So here we have I and here we have T. But here we have alternating current or AC. So here we can differentiate or the relation between electric current intensity and time as curved line or zigzag, as a waves like that. Why? Because alternating current here is what is variable intensity and direction, while the direct current has constant intensity and direction. So how can we represent the relation between each one of them by drawing as graph for alternating and direct current. Next question بيقول لي هنا هوت what happens connection of electric cells in parallel. لو انا وصلت electric cells in parallel according to the value of electromotive force. لو أنا وصلت, if we connect the electric cells in what? In parallel according to the value of electromotive force. So the value of electromotive force here we have two values as maximum or minimum. So here the value of electromotive force is minimum. Why? Because in this relation we can calculate electromotive force as E battery equal E1 of any electric cell. E battery equal E1. Next question as what happens when the value of electric resistance increase. So here we talk about what? Electric resistance. The value of electric resistance increases according to the value of electric current intensity. How can we find the relation between the electric resistance and the electric current intensity? As we have R equal V over I. So R, which means electric resistance, equal potential difference over the current intensity. So here the relation between, as we see here, the relation between the electric current, the electric resistance and the electric current intensity is what? Proportional. As we have here, the relation is inversely proportional. Because if the electric current intensity or if the electric resistance increase, the electric current intensity decrease. So here we have to write the current intensity decreases. The electric current intensity decreases. Next question is adding manganese dioxide to hydrogen peroxide. Here what happens when? So we can indicate or explain the relation or the reaction contains hydrogen peroxide by using the chemical equation, as we have 2H2O2 because we talk about hydrogen peroxide. And we know if we add hydrogen peroxide or manganese dioxide to hydrogen peroxide, here we have manganese dioxide as catalyst. So MnO2 as manganese dioxide. So here water or hydrogen peroxide will decompose by manganese dioxide as a catalyst into water H2O plus O2. Gas evolves. So here we have water and oxygen. Here in this point, dear students, لازم نبقى واخدين بالنا مع بعض in if we have any question contains chemical reaction or substance we add to another substance or by heating or anything like that, we can answer by using the chemical equation in give reason for or in what happens when. But not only the give reason as we use here in what happens or give reason, we use not only the chemical equation, we should write the names below the symbols or the chemical formula and the color as possible. لو في لون لازم اكتبه name, we should write it. So we can answer give reason again and what happens in this part, especially unit 1, by using chemical equations but with name and colors. Okay, so here we have a question as what happens when. If we have another question as we see here, زي ما نشوف مع بعض, changing the genes enzyme. We know here that gene produce or each gene produces a special enzyme. طب لو الجين عمل ايه؟ gene changing the genes enzymes. لو الجين غير الانزيم بتاعه ايه اللي هيحصل؟ So in this case the gene will form a different trait. هيطلع صفة تانية غير اللي هو كان بيطلع. Because each gene produce a special enzyme and each enzyme will produce a special protein, so each protein will produce a special trait. So here we will produce a different trait because changing in the gene's enzyme. Next question, complete the following equations with the type of each one. يعني هقول how can we complete and at the same time we will detect or indicate the type of chemical reaction in each one of them. So here we have 2HGO by heating, as we have mercuric oxide by heating will decompose into what and what? It will decompose into 2Hg as mercury with oxygen O2. So here we have mercury has a silver color as we studied before and mercuric oxide has red color. This chemical reaction represents or indicates to أو belongs to the thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal, because here we have heating as a triangle as we studied before in first prep, second prep, and third prep. Next one is copper carbonate. Will decompose by heating into what? Here we have heating. As we studied before, copper will take one oxygen atom, as we have here copper oxide, and through the remains. The remains here are CO2 as carbon dioxide. And here we use what? Here we use heat, so we have thermal decomposition reaction as the previous equation. Okay. Next one is CaCO3 as calcium carbonate by heating will decompose into what? As the previous equation as copper. Copper take only one oxygen atom and left the remain, or the other elements or atoms. As here we have calcium will take only one oxygen atom and left the other or the rest. So here we have calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. As this equation is what? Is thermal decomposition reaction. Next one is copper sulfate. Copper sulfate by heating. We know the color of copper sulfate is what? The color of copper sulfate is blue. And the copper will take only one oxygen atom as CuO, as copper oxide has black color, and at the same time we have SO3 as sulfur trioxide gas evolves. Here we have another one, as we have copper hydroxide CuOH by 2 as CuO and H2O as a water vapor, because here we have heating. So if we have heating here, we talk about thermal decomposition reaction as the previous chemical equations. The last one from the chemical decomposition, our thermal decomposition reaction, here we have sodium nitrate. And sodium nitrate, its color is white. Color is white. Sodium nitrate, it changes into yellowish white by heating. But sodium is a monster. Sodium da وحش. Take all atoms and just leave one oxygen molecule. So here we have O2 gas evolves, and we will write the rest atoms as we have here 2NaNO2, as we have sodium nitrite, and its color is yellowish white. And if we have here a triangle before or above the arrow, so we talk about thermal decomposition reactions. So here we have the 6 equations in the thermal decomposition reaction. So here, dear students, we have another type of questions, as we have choose the correct answer. هنتكلم بقى على correct answer as choose, but at the same time we should remember how can we choose. In this question we talk about what? بيقول لي Mendel's first law. القانون الأول لمندل. Mendel first law is called what? Segregation, independent assortment, both of them. We have Mendel's first law, Mendel's second law, and each one of them has a parallel name. As first law is called what? Is called the law of segregation أو قانون الانعزال. Next one. What is the measuring unit of radiation absorbance? What is the measuring unit of radiation absorbance? Here we talk about rem. We talk about rem. Third question said by heating the metal carbonate. ده ايه؟ بيقول ايه؟ The metal carbonate. تمام؟ by heating the metal carbonate. What is produced and carbon dioxide. اقول له اوكي. metal carbonate like what؟ وقال لي by heating. خلي بالنا metal carbonate as yes copper carbonate صح؟ will decompose by heating into CuO copper oxide and CO2 carbon dioxide صح؟ okay. So here we have what? We have copper oxide. So we will talk about metal oxide. Sometimes the question is indirect, not clear. If we study well and we understand the question, we can answer. Number 4, oxidation process takes place when the atom what electron or more. So here we talk about the oxidation process. Oxidation process takes place by or if the atom yes loses 1 electron or more during the chemical reaction, and we have the opposite one as the reduction if the atom gains 1 electron or more. Number 5 is from dominant traits in human. Is from, we talk about dominant traits in what? In human. We have narrow eyes, wide eyes, or colored eyes. We remember the colored eyes is what? Is recessive traits, and narrow eyes is a recessive trait. So we talk about dominant trait in human, so we talk about wide eyes. We talk about what? We talk about wide eyes. Next one بيقول لي is from dominant trait in human. طبعا دي قلناها من شوية. Number 6 we can obtain maximum electromotive force by what connection of the electric cells. Maximum يعني electromotive force of the battery equal E1 times the number of the electric cells. So here we have to write in series connection. 7. What causing damage of spleen, bone marrow, digestive system, and nervous system? Here we have large dosage of radiation for a short period of time, small dosage of radiation for a long period of time, or no correct answer. We talk about damage in spleen اللي هو الطحال, bone marrow اللي هو نخاع العظم, digestive system, and the nervous system. So if human exposed to a large dosage of radiation for a short period of time, يعني تعرض لجرعة شديدة من الإشعاع أو كبيرة لوقت صغير, as we saw these symptoms in famous movie is called UK-19 as a Widowmaker. كان فيلم يعني بيحكي عن القصة عن الموضوع ده. Question number 8 بيقول لي genes control the characteristics by producing. الجين بيعمل control the characteristics by producing what? Vitamins, enzymes, or hormones. So each gene produces what? Special, yes, enzymes. And this enzyme will produce a special protein. This protein will produce a special trait. So, we have here, question number 9 is what? Composed of proteins and DNA. What? Composed of proteins and DNA. Gene, chromosome, or trait. طبعا we know gene composed of chromosome أو of DNA plus protein. Number 10. Substance which increases the speed of chemical reaction without being changed. طبعا هنا increases or change the speed of chemical reaction without being changed, as here we talk about catalyst. صح؟ بس هي مكتوبة هنا enzyme. We can use enzyme because enzyme is a natural biological catalyst. يعني الانزيم هو catalyst برضه. Speed up the chemical reaction without being changed. The genetic map of human genes on the chromosomes is called what? We talk about the genetic man or the genetic map of human genes. طبعا الجينز on chromosomes is called what? It's called genome. It's called what? It's called genome. Question 12. Is the electric current has fixed current intensity and direction? Here we talk about the type or a type of electric current has constant or fixed current intensity and direction. So here we talk about what? We talk about direct current. We talk about direct current, not alternating, and at the same time alternating is a variable current. So we can't use second choice or the third choice in this question. Number 3, nuclear planets use what for cooling purposes? Here we have to talk about the يعني states or countries دول تستخدم nuclear energy أو طاقة النووية. So these nuclear planets are or use what for cooling purposes? They use artificial lake or lakes for يعني cooling purposes لاستخدامات أو أغراض التبريد. Next question is by increasing the temperature of reactants, the speed of chemical reaction will what? By increasing the temperature of reactants, the speed of chemical reaction will, yes, increase. The speed of chemical reaction will increase. طبعا because the number of collisions between molecules will increase. Number 16, is the potential difference when the work done equal 1 joule to transfer a quantity of charge equal 1 coulomb? So here we talk about what? We talk about joule as W, work done, over what? Quantity of charge. So here we talk about what? We talk about a potential difference. But in the question, we have a potential difference. So we will write what? The measuring unit of the potential difference as volt. Because 1 volt equal 1 joule over 1 coulomb. 1 joule over 1 coulomb. So here, dear students, لازم نفتكر مع بعض. How can we deal with these types of questions? يعني أنا لو مثلا عندي طبعا we should remember that we have 3 mathematical laws in unit 2 as I equal Q over T, as W أو V equal W over Q, and R equal V over I. From each one from these triangle we can answer problem, we can answer how can we define. يعني for example how can we define مثلا ampere. احنا عارفين ampere is the measuring unit of the electric current intensity. So ampere is the electric current intensity when quantity of charge equal 1 coulomb through time equal 1 second. We can answer from the mathematical law. جاوبت منين؟ من الرول. So from the magic triangle also we can know the relation between the physical quantities or the physical properties of the electric current. How come? We know from the previous question here قلنا ان R equal V over I. So the relation between electric resistance increase, for example, the current intensity will decrease and vice versa. If the electric resistance increase, the potential difference will increase, okay, and vice versa. So from the magic triangle we can know measuring units, we can know the relations, we can answer complete choose and problems, okay. Here we have question number 17. قدامنا بيقول ايه؟ بيقول لي are the small units. خلي بالنا بيقول the small units form what? forms DNA. خلي بالنا we know DNA its chemical structure is what? Is طبعا أو is the part from the chemical character أو structure of طبعا gene. بس هو عايز ال small units forming ال DNA بقى نفسه. طبعا here we have nucleotides. So the small units of DNA is called nucleotide. Question 18 بيقول لي tall stem. بيقول tall stem is from what traits in the pea plant. So here we talk about pea plant and we should remember tall stem is from the dominant trait. Is from the dominant trait in the pea plant. Question number 19 بيقول human body can expose to radiation equal what daily. يعني ممكن الإنسان يتعرض للإشعاع وما يحصلوش حاجة. Human body can expose to radiation how many daily. طبعا we remember as not 3 not 4 but here we have 5 rem. 5 what? 5 rem. Next question number 20 بيقول لي iron fillings react what than piece of iron due to increasing in the surface area of reactants. طبعا here we talk about iron fillings as a powder of iron react what than piece of iron. So anything has أو use in fillings or as a powder is react أو can react faster than as a piece. يعني if we have effervescent tablet لو أنا عندي قرص فوار في البيت as a piece and another as powder مين اللي هيفور أو يدوب أسرع؟ طبعا الباودر. يبقى iron fillings react faster than piece of iron. طبعا give reason for بقول له due to increasing the surface area of the reactant. Next question as here we have hydrogen peroxide 2H2O by using catalyst as a manganese dioxide MnO2. So here we أو these يعني اللي هو الهيدروجين peroxide will decompose into 2H2O water and oxygen gas evolves. So we can answer by using the first choice as 2 here we have H2O and what and oxygen gas evolves. Question number 22 بيقول لي is the trait appeared صفة هتظهر if the gene is pure or hybrid لو الجين كان نقي أو هجين. طبعا we can answer here as what? As dominant trait. Dominant trait. Because how can we answer? Because the gene here is pure or the gene is hybrid, the trait will appear as tall stem, as yellow seed, as green pod, as for example terminal flower and so on. So here if we talk about what? If we talk about the dominant trait, we know this trait appears if the gene is pure or hybrid. Next question بيقول لي 23 بيقول لي is the ratio between the potential difference and the current intensity. Again it is أو is the ratio between what and what? Between potential difference and current intensity. So potential difference over current intensity equal what? Yes, equal R. So the ratio between the potential difference and the current intensity is the electric resistance. طبعا here according to Ohm's law لما the scientist Ohm define electric resistance, he said that electric resistance is the ratio between the potential difference and the current intensity. 24 بيقول لي is the potential difference between two poles of dry cell when the electric circuit is opened. So is the potential difference between two poles of dry cell when the electric circuit is opened. طبعا هنا we talk about electromotive force. عرفت منين؟ لأنه قال لي between two poles of dry cell وقال لي electric circuit is opened، يعني no electric current pass or will pass in this electric circuit. Number 25 بيقول لي storing the radioactive wastes or radioactive nuclear wastes away from what? We should store the radioactive, especially the strong wastes from the radioactive nuclear waste, away from بعيد عن مين؟ Animal caves or away from unstable areas or away from all the previous. So in this question I will answer as all the previous or both of them. Here we have a problem. طيب قبل ما نبتدي بالبروبلم as we see in choose لما شفنا مع بعض الأسئلة في choose. One, we can pick the answer from the question as we have the answer inside the question. على فكرة الكلام ده في give reason, what happens, complete, choose, right, wrong, correct, underlined, explain. We can pick the answer from the question. يعني ممكن أطلع الإجابة من جوه السؤال. If I understand, not just إن أنا أقعد أحفظ وخلاص. From the previous type of questions عرفنا إن we can answer from the question. يعني أطلع الإجابة من جوه السؤال by easy way. As we will know now, but in a new type of question as we will talk about the connection of the electric cells. نشوف مع بعض كده بيقول لي 3 electric cells زي ما احنا شايفين قدامنا each one has electromotive force equal 3 volts. How can we or you connect them to obtain electromotive force equal 6 volts and 9 volts? خلي بالنا بقى. In this question we should remember أو we should determine the time أو the number of cells. We have 3 electric cells. يبقى number 1 as a given. And the electromotive force of each one equal 3 volts. How can you connect them? ازاي هوصلهم to obtain electromotive force equal 6 volts and 9 volts. طبعا we can use mixing or we can mix between two types of connection as we have series and parallel connection. But in this one, or the first one, we have to obtain 3 or 6, لا, we have to obtain 6 volts. So we should connect 2 electric cells in parallel connection as you see like that. Okay, and just one in series connection as you see. Don't forget to write the negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, negative. So in this case on the first one electromotive force equal what? 6 volts. How come? عرفت منين؟ أقول له because here we have 2 in parallel, so here they equal 3 volts and here 1 in series equal 3 volts, so the total equal what? Equal 6 volts. Next one, here we we need 6 volts. عايزهم 6 volts. So we write them, we will draw as what? As you see, we have to connect them all in series connection, as you see here, like that. Each positive pole is connected with the next negative pole, like that. So we have electromotive force equal, in this case, equal 9 volts, because in this connection we طبعا calculate the electromotive force by the summation of all electric cells. So here E1 plus E2 plus E3 or ممكن نحسبها بطريقة تانية E1 times number of cells. So we obtain from this connection the maximum electromotive force. طب if we have to obtain مثلا 3 volts عايز اطلعهم كلهم ب 3 volts. In this case we will connect them all parallel because in connection of electric cells in parallel EMF equal what? Equal E1. طبعا all positive poles are connected together and all negative poles are connected together. In this question بيقول لي electric current أو electric circuit its resistance. طبعا هنا we have a given electric resistance equal 5 ohms and the quantity Q of electric charge passing through it equal 120 coulombs by working equal 60 joules. Calculate the electric current intensity. طبعا we have to remember the magic triangles of the 3 طبعا rules. طبعا we have the first one is what? I equal Q over T. صح؟ طيب. Number 2 we have W equal سوري بس هرجع حاجة كده V equal W over A over Q. And the third one as a last triangle as R resistance equal V potential difference over I as electric current intensity. In this problem we want to calculate what? Calculate the electric current intensity. We need to calculate the electric current intensity. So we have electric resistance. طب electric resistance here موجودة اهي. But we have no potential difference. طيب. But we can calculate the potential difference by using work done and the quantity of charge. So we will answer as V equal W over Q. As here W equal 60 joules over 120 watt coulombs equal 0.5 watt volts. So now we can calculate the electric current intensity. The electric current intensity is I equal V over R. And we know V equals 0.5 watt volts and R equal what? Equal 5 ohms. صح? So over what? Over 5 equal 0.1. 0.1 watt, we should remember the measuring unit is ampere. So in this problem we use 2 triangles. As we see, we use this triangle and we use this triangle. Next one. بيقول لي 2 pea plants, one has purple flower and the other طبعا pure. خلي بالنا ان ال purple flower or the red flower is the dominant. So we know dominant trait appears if the gene is pure or A or hybrid. So we should remember how can we deal with this type of question. We should know the dominant. But the recessive trait appears if the gene is pure only. So here we talk about white flower and white flower is recessive and the recessive trait appears if the gene is طبعا pure only. طيب هنشتغل عليها ازاي؟ هنشوف كده بس هنا مع بعض. اوكي طبعا parents gametes F1. We have purple as R capital. R capital ليه؟ لأنه قال إن هو pure with white طبعا are small are small. In gametes we segregate as half number of chromosomes are small and are small. First with the first one as we have R capital R small R capital R small R capital R small and R capital R small. عرفت منين؟ اقول له طبعا بنعمل كده first with first then first with ايه with second as you see وبعدين ارجع تاني second with first then second with second. So we know now how can we deal with this type of question. But in this problem قال لي first and the second generation we should complete. طيب نعمل second generation how come؟ طبعا we pick two individuals from the first generation. طبعا any two because all are 100% what purple طبعا flower. طيب in second generation we write P G F 2 we have R capital R small with R capital R small. So R then R capital and R small. Okay, first with first we have R capital then R capital R small then R capital R small then R small R small. عرفت برضو منين؟ first with first then first with second. So we have another as second with first and what and second with second. If we have two similar letters لو عندنا الحرفين زي بعض we write the what the طبعا the capital before the small. In this case we have 3 purple to 1 white flower 3 to 1 as Mendel's first law. So here in this type of questions dear students زي ما شفنا مع بعض كده we can يعني mention the letters يعني كأن في حصة خط بالظبط. We should remember dominant and recessive. Dominant has or represented by capital letter while the recessive traits represented by small letter from the dominant. يعني ازاي؟ يعني tall stem tall يبقى T capital لانها dominant. طب short stem يبقى T small. Yellow seed Y capital. Green seed Y small. Okay? Red flower R capital. White flower R small and so on. ونخلي بالنا take care if we have dominant trait we should remember if this trait in the problem is pure or hybrid. If it pure so we will represent it or this trait is represented by two similar letters طبعا هنا هيبقوا capital. But if the dominant trait is hybrid so we will illustrate or this trait will represent itself by two letters one capital one small from the same letter. Okay. طيب نيجي مع بعض next question. شوف كده طبعا احنا هنا عرفنا ال pea plants. طيب طيب احنا ممكن ناخد give reason. هنا بيقول لي give reason for zinc react faster than aluminium with hydrochloric acid. How come we know aluminium is more active than zinc? So how come zinc react faster with طبعا hydrochloric acid؟ طبعا هقول له due to formation of aluminium oxide layer طبعا delay بتأجل the reaction. طبعا we have many give reason for. طبعا dear students we should remember how can we answer give reason for. طبعا عندنا give reason مثلا for example oxidation and reduction are two concurrent process. طبعا we can answer because they take place at the same time. عندنا مثلا give reason modification of the genetic structure of rice. بيغيروا ليه genetic structure of rice اللي هو الرز طبعا to make pro vitamin A change into vitamin A to avoid loss of sight. The importance of genome قلنا know the transmission of diseases from one generation to another. Recognize the human race traits بنحدد بيها صفات الإنسان كلها. And many questions as these types of questions. Okay, dear students, I hope you tomorrow read the question more than one time. And don't be مثلا ان احنا نبقى hurry more than normal limit. We should read more than one time, illustrate your answer good, and answer any question or each question in one page. Don't mix all questions in one page and leave the other page white or empty. طبعا by using a red pen بالقلم الأزرق الجاف طبعا without any color. And I hope you get full marks or high marks tomorrow. طبعا هتوحشوني جدا. See you. Goodbye.